You know, one thing's for sure, and that is that things change. Nature changes, and that's really a key. Our goal is to work in harmony with nature rather than trying to outsmart it. Anything that I could do to get to work with Dad was what I wanted to do. He was a vegetable farmer, and he did it quite well. Dad has a saying that the only thing that we're trying to do is get as good as the farmers were 100 years ago. And the vegetables were more nutritious, by 50 to 80% more nutritious 100 years ago than they are today. It's an opportunity for us to look back and learn, rebuilding that soil, trying to grow the healthiest, most flavorful vegetables that we knew how. It was a unified vision. I'm Farmer Lee Jones from the Chef's Garden. What would I be if I wasn't a farmer? Disappointed. The history of the farm is certainly a long, winding road. Dad had a vision, farming about 1,200 acres of fresh market vegetable in the late 70s, early 80s. And ultimately, we failed. We had a very devastating hailstorm, and it completely and totally wiped out all the crops. And at 19 years old, I stood with my mom and dad, my brother and sister, and they auctioned every single thing off that we owned, right down to my mother's car and our house. The odds were truly stacked against us. But my dad, he was our rock. He was our family's rock. He just never knew defeat. We came back and went to work. As I was growing up, I always thought there was nothing that my dad couldn't do, and that was the attitude that he gave us. And that was really the key to us surviving and thriving. And here we are, growing the healthiest, most nutritious, sexiest, best flavored, best looking vegetables that exist in the world. That's our goal. We felt like we could do more to help society by improving the nutrition of the vegetable. Let's go check out this squash field.
You know, the stems are great. The leaves are still young enough to eat. The blooms are beautiful. The farm excels when it has somewhere within it the voice of culinary reason.
They're wintered over.
Well,
and of course, and then, you know, the goal of the plant is to produce a mature seed.
Right.
And, you know, we're farmers. We understand growing. Chef Jamie brings us a look and a perspective of plants that we had never considered as farmers before.
When they start to bloom like this, those little buds eat like, almost like broccoli, you know, or rapini or something. I mean, that is a dish, you know? The consumer wants to know where their food comes from. Chefs need to know where they're getting their food from. This place exists for that reason.
And we normally have about 600 visiting chefs every year.
We come to see the farm and know thy farmer and know how something's being grown and who's growing it. We can take these ingredients from the fields and into a kitchen. To have good ingredients, great ingredients, is really important. Cooking is easier when your food is great. You just sort of put it on the plate and you don't screw it up. You can't screw it up. I think having great ingredients is critical. Colors for the canvas or paint for the painter. Farmer Lee has always pushed us. He's always pushed us to try harder, push further, reach, tell a story. We try and convey those messages, that he's telling in the form of a dinner, on the plate.
Farmers are probably the most optimistic people in the world. Every year, we get another chance. There's an old saying that says, well, maybe next year. And even by the end of the fall, when you're tired and maybe things haven't gone exactly as you planned, and they never do, some years worse than others. We lost Dad August 4th. In a lot of ways, we haven't said goodbye. He's here. He's here every step, everything that we do, all of our direction, all of our goals. One thing's for sure, and that is that things change. And either we figure out a way to change with it, or you fail. It's the first season without Dad. We're at that crossroads, and we choose to move forward, and we choose to adapt. We choose to survive and thrive. It's kind of like the difference between sustainable agriculture and regenerative. Sustainable means, well, you kind of hang on and you sustain yourself. Regenerative means you're rebuilding the people, you're rebuilding the land, you're rebuilding the environment. And Dad always said, if you don't know what the goal is, you'll never reach it. Growing the healthiest, most nutritious, sexiest, best flavored, best looking vegetables that exist in the world. That's our goal.